Hey everyone, Sheena here with Crafty Mama Journals. Today we're going to build the bones of a journal. I'll be using our Porcelain Daisy Garden papers and journal pages to create mine. I'll leave a link below for both. First step to building your journal is to make the cover pieces and the spine. So I got this chipboard and it's just a little bit thicker cardboard. And I cut each of these two pieces at 8.5 by 5.5. And then this piece, which will be the spine, I did 8.5 by 1.5 because I want to do 4 signatures in here, so that'll give me room for that. So I've got these cut and ready. I have my papers that I'm going to use for the outside cover. And these are papers that came from the Porcelain Daisy Garden paper collection. So I just printed those and I trimmed off the edges where the printer didn't print. And we're just going to line these up and glue, overlapping them just a little bit, a 1/2 inch to 1 inch. Just get your glue on there. Get them lined up. Try and get these. There we go. Wanted to make sure that the stripes are lined up. And this is just regular paper here. There we go. We've got these lined up. I didn't glue my paper down onto the table. I've done something and I've got something sticky on here that I can't get off. So I have to deal with that for a little bit. Now we're going to take your 2 cover pieces and your spine. And we're just going to lay those right towards the middle. And you want to leave a little bit of a gap here between your spine and your cover pieces. So I like to take my bone folder and just line it up that way. First, let me make sure that I'm straight here. There we go. That way I have just a little bit of a gap. Yeah, there we go. All right. Not that it matters to get it perfect, you're going to pick it up anyway to glue it. So we're going to put glue all over this piece. And these are going to make your spine. Okay, let's get it about where we want it. Like that. Because I chose this striped paper, I want to make sure that I've got it straight on the stripes. I don't want my stripes to be crooked. Okay. Okay, so now we have the cover. And don't worry about these overlaps because we're going to cover this whole middle. So we want to make sure that we can still fold it both ways. Get your foam folder in there so it folds in there instead of making a gap for you. All right. Wonderful. Now, it's starting to look like something. And the next thing that we'll do is we'll work on our signatures. Now, I created this piece. It comes like this. And I've just printed some of the other paper from the Porcelain Daisy collection on here. And this is to divide up between 4 signatures. I created this and it will be for sale. However, it's really easy to make. All you do is measure top to bottom, the same as your book is going to be, and then make sure to divide each piece up. These are right in the middle, and then these are not exactly like, this isn't the same as this, but I wanted them out further. Okay, so you have this piece, which is going to be the inside of the spine, and this piece that we're going to use to poke the holes into our signatures. And all you're going to do is line up this right in the middle. And then I like to use a clip just to hold it in place. Okay, and then I'm going to take my awl and poke it through. Each of these. So I'm poking it all the way through each of these spaces. And then what I'm going to do is remove this part from each one here. And I'm going to follow through and poke the holes for each signature right in the center. Then you take your awl and you want to poke out these holes here. They match up. So your signature holes and your spine holes will match. But I want to get these poked through too, that way I've got those ready. It makes it a little bit easier later. Just poke each one of these holes. All right, now we're ready to sew them, our signatures, into our journal spines. We don't need this anymore. We're gonna start by figuring out which way we want our journals, which signature you want where, basically. And I've got mine. I think I'll put that one there. There we go. Start with the one that you've got clipped. And we've got our holes. And here is the thread. We need about 2.5 times. 2.5 times is plenty. All right. So I go about that far, cut it off. There we go. And you'll want to leave a couple inches on the end so that you have a side to pull through. And we're going to take the signature and starting at the middle in the back on this piece, here's the hole that we poked here. I don't know if you can see that. We're going to start right here. Okay. And then we will line it up with the hole in the middle here. just like so. There we go. Line those pieces up. There we go. All right. And you're gonna leave a couple inches back here so that you'll be able to tie it later. Then we're going to go to the top hole that we've punched already. Poke it through, match it up with the top hole here. We're gonna pull this through. There. Just make sure and pull it tight, but don't lose your string here. Okay. Then we're gonna go back through this bottom, line it up with the bottom that you've already punched. All right, here we go. Get that pulled through. Make sure and pull it tight. And back through the middle. There we go. Make sure and get your end to come through. We're pulling it tight. I like to stick one string under this back string. We don't want it too tight to where it's going to bend but tight enough. And we'll just double knot this. You can either leave it or cut off the excess. Okay, now we have our first journal signature sewed right into the spine. Then we will continue with the rest of them just in the exact same way. Okay, now we've got all these tied in. You've got all your papers. Time to attach the signatures to your spine. Now, we're really going to want to glue this up because you've got to get all that extra in there. Okay, so I'm gonna glue this hot and heavy on here. I'm also gonna glue these edges just so that they will attach to the sides. Okay. Now, I want to make sure my paper is up. Matching my paper here up, and we're going to stick it right in the middle. There we go. We'll fold these sides up, glue these down. Actually, let me get that in there. Stick that down there. Glue your side, glue this side. Move these little strings out of my way here from sewing it in. Okay, just really press that down. Okay, now we've got our beginning of our journal. Full book here. Now the very next step that we're going to do is cover these insides, the inside covers, because it's kind of messy right now. For that, I took a couple pieces of paper from the Porcelain Daisy Garden, just a little bit more of a neutral, and I cut it to match the height there, but I think I'm going to trim it down just a bit. Let's make them both the same. All right, let's see what that does. Perfect. Hides all of our folds, all the extra paper. Just line this back with glue. There we go. We'll put that right on. Center it up. Gorgeous. I'm going to take my bone folder here just to push it down, spread the glue out a little bit. Perfect, perfect, perfect. Let's go to the back cover and do the same thing. Oh, looks like that didn't stick really well. Let's give that a second here. Okay, and this will help to hold it too. Stick something here to kind of hold that up for now. See if I can't get something a little heavier. Here we go. That way it's not putting so much pressure on this side. Okay. And we're just going to put glue on the inside cover here. All right. And again, we're just going to the very back cover. And that is how you create a simple junk journal. Now it's ready to be filled with ephemera, pockets, fussy cuts, you name it. Come back next time and I'll be adding more to this.